Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the variety show that revolves around one central theme: stories and the people that tell them. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. And hey, if you're feeling up for it, leave a comment down below, let us know you subscribed, and we will give you a shout out.
Hello and welcome
To Stories, the True
and the Fictional.
Yeah, it's a brand new episode, right?
It is episode 54.
54, yes, that's correct. Lots been happening. We've got a lot of good interviews coming up.
Yep.
I myself was interviewed by someone today.
Someone stopped him on the street and said, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?"
No, well, the bridge is flooded, so I can't go anywhere. Again. It's flooded again.
Yeah. Every time a movie comes out that we want to watch, the bridge floods.
Yeah. But everyone's changed their minds now. They go like, let's go watch Morbius. Let's not watch Morbius.
I'm still going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it, but
I don't follow the reviews like sheep. I make my own decisions.
Yeah, well, I don't trust reviewers. I do not trust reviewers. Like,
not at all. Not at all.
Been wrong, or they've been bought out. That's right, reviewers. You've been bought out.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been watching the slowly one a week. I've been watching the Transformers movies again, and you know what? A lot of people bad them out, but if you don't watch them all together, like if you have a little bit of a break between, I'm enjoying them. I'm up to the fourth one now.
They're popcorn flicks, so
look, the story is decent.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying them. They go for 2.5 hours each, so they have to have something that I enjoy. But yeah, I've got them all, and I'm just watching one a week.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff.
Good fun action. Bumblebee's probably
watching it for Megan Fox.
Well, Bumblebee's probably my favorite, to be honest. I mean, apart from the first one, because the first one was like, it was. Yeah. For me, it was seeing it come to life for the first time, and you can't replace, that. Like, it could have been a terrible, woefully bad movie, but I was just like, Transformers.
No, I'm enjoying them, and I'll probably watch another one this weekend too.
Stuff. But yeah, I'd say this isn't the movie review podcast because it is the movie review podcast. But jokes, right? Let's go. Let's dive right in. Jokes.
Yeah, no worries. Well, look, I've been doing a bit of soul searching and trying to figure out how to make a bit of money and just doing. So I've decided to invest my life savings into pasta, every single penny. And
next.
You know what? I told my cat. The joke is daughter, but I don't have a daughter, so I told my cat to go to bed. The cows are sleeping in the field. My cat said, "What's that got to do with anything?" I said, "It means it's past your bedtime."
Okay, I respect that joke. I didn't laugh, but I respect that joke.
I'll tell you what. You know what? Keeping tropical fish at home, Jamie, it can have a very calming effect on the brain. It's due to all the endorphins.
That's the best one.
Okay. I'll stop there.
Funny. Well, today's episode, we are diving into the 90s. We're going back to the 90s, back to our teenage years. I mean, our toddler years, preschool years, right, Ryan? Preschool years?
No, teenage years.
Yeah.
1990, I was 8. So, we're getting there, getting close.
Well, I had the perfect school because it was like, in 1991, I was in year 1. In 1992, I was in year 2. In 1990... And then I said, the reason I left so early is because it got confusing when it got to, 00 again. No, so my story of the week is actually a story from the 90s. I dug up something from the 90s that is weird and random, and it just goes to show that people don't change. It's called Baked Beans in Boots. June 1998. A few fun facts about 1998. Blink-182 and Enema of the State album came out. I believe the Godzilla movie came out, the really bad one. But yeah, this happened in 1998. During a routine check.
Matthew Broderick Godzilla came out.
Godzilla.
That was a solid film.
Jeez.
They set it up for a sequel too, with the eggs in Madison Square Garden and everything. But
well, do you know why they had the baby ones?
Why's that?
Because they made a deal with Japan. I think the people they bought the rights off or something like that. It couldn't look like Godzilla.
Right.
And Godzilla couldn't kill anyone.
Okay.
They went, where's a loophole? Baby Godzillas.
Okay.
You know, and stuff like that. But on that film, I remember sitting in the movie theater and it gets to the bit where Godzilla's, spoiler alert, dead. And it's that quiet, you know, and Matthew Broderick's like, you know, and it goes quiet. And then this guy in the cinema just yells out, "It's dinner time." and no one laughed, but you look around and he's got this grin on his face, like, I just said the funniest joke ever. That's what I remember about that film. But back to the news article.
How did Chris feel after no one laughed at his joke in that movie?
No, well, Chris would punch people if they don't laugh at his jokes. Yeah. No, okay. So back to the article. During a routine check, police stopped a man in Colchester, Essex, and discovered that he was wearing Wellington boots filled with baked beans and tomato sauce. The officer never found out why he was doing this, but warned him that he should wear more appropriate footwear since boots full of baked beans could cause him to be distracted and have an accident.
Okay.
Slow news day.
Slow news day indeed.
I mean, I would like to ask that guy who, you know, why are you wearing baked beans? And
to do that, you would need to go back to 1998. And you would need to go to Colchester, Essex in England.
Yeah, well, I was, you know, still in school, so I'm still gonna. I mean, I went to school with a English girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one English girl, thick English accent. I could have asked her, but you know,
that would have been good for this podcast. Like many years later.
Yeah,
a better story.
Oh. Well, I chose that one over the other one, which was about a dog dying. So,
don't do that.
What? Choose the gumboots one over a
dog dying.
No,
choose the gumboot one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So stop complaining about my joke, my story of the week that's weird and random.
Well, I'll be nice.
And let's what are we talking about today? What specific 90s things are we talking about today?
We're talking about 90s video games, Jamie.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, when, you know, in the 90s, we were at the age where we were discovering video games. Because if we talk about the 2000s, it's when we discovered boobs. And, well, some of you discovered boobs. And
no, we discovered boobs in 1997. Thank you very much. Well, I did.
Okay, well, all right then. But yes, we're talking about our top 5 favorite games, video games that we remember from the 90s.
Yep. The games we grew up with.
Exactly.
The ones that to this day we have fond memories of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, shall I crack it off?
You go first.
This is actually an arcade game because it is to date the only arcade game that I have finished.
Okay.
I spent ridiculous amounts of money. I think I remember way back, you know, when arcades were popular and all raging.
Yeah. Like Time Zone and all those back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I think my dad was taking my sister to the dentist near the city somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he left me at the arcade. Then he went off with her. He said, here's like $50.
Oh, $50. Fuck.
Yeah, $50. And I was like, all quarters, straight to the arcade. And I played Lost World Jurassic Park, first person shoot like the time crisis kind of style game.
Yeah.
And I finished it. And every time, like, if I had $20,000, I would buy that arcade machine right now. But it was amazing. The T-Rex chasing after the car, and you got to shoot this little bits in the mouth. And then if you shoot all the targets in the mouth, it goes up. It backs off. Greatest game. Unfortunately, there's a new version of it, and it is just like a railgun. You just sit there going.
We can actually watch the whole game on YouTube. 1997. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it came out in 1997.
Yeah. So you can actually watch it. It's 41 minutes.
Yeah, well, there you go. I finished.
Yeah.
I remember trying to finish it for the second time with a mate.
Yeah.
And his little brother was there, but it was only 2-player. And so there's a version where you sit in a vehicle.
Yep. That's the one I'm looking at right now.
Because there's one where you don't sit in the vehicle, and there's one where you sit in the vehicle. We sit in the vehicle, and we're like, we got like one life left. And we're like, grab my mate's brother by the shirt and go, quick, get us some more quarters. And he runs off and gets the quarters. Yes, that's.
Well, there's some people out there selling them. I'm just looking it up now. About $3,000.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty good. That's $3,000 is the one where it doesn't have the thing where you sit down in.
Yeah.
That's just a standard one. Yeah.
There's also a guy in Sydney that makes arcade machines and puts any game you want in it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I want the whole Jurassic Park style. Oh.
Yeah, I got a mate of mine who bought one that it's basically just an emulator. It's got 50,000 games and yeah. But no, I don't think I've ever. I can't remember back in the arcades. Like all I remember from the arcades is Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2.
Yeah,
that's all I can remember, and Time Crisis, of course.
Well, I remember. Do you remember? Because we played in bands together quite a bit. There was a venue in Sydney somewhere where they had Street Fighter. It was like a pub.
Okay.
And there was one arcade machine and it was Street Fighter.
I can't remember exactly. I remember, is it Dicey Riley's in Canberra or Wollongong or something?
Dicey Riley's is Wollongong.
They used to have a couple of arcade machines there. I remember off the top of my head.
No, I like Dicey Riley's.
Yeah, good venue.
Good venue. Yeah. But tell me about one of your games on the list, Ryan.
Well, I'm tossing up whether I'm going to start with my favorite.
Well, I started with my favorite.
Oh, you did? Okay, well then I'm not. I want to be different. Okay, look, my one, I suppose I had a lot of enjoyment with this one because I used to go to Parramatta and play with my mates. Half-Life, 1998.
Yeah.
It's like the Doom engine, but you're a Marines and everything went down and I remember the intro had the longest journey in like a monorail before you actually got to boot camp or basic training. And then I think there was a stage where for about the first 20 minutes, all you had was a crowbar and you were trying to kill aliens with a crowbar. But yeah, no, I remember we used to go to Parramatta. We used to go to one of those, those old Chinese shops that used to have lands, and we used to, jump on and verse each other, even though we were sitting in the same room. So Half-Life, that was by Valve Studios back in 1998. They did a couple of people, but it was good.
I remember because we have a friend, what is it? Steve-O Thompson, who was like, when the consoles came out, like he was like hardcore PC. Anyone that plays console, you're stupid. It's not as smooth. And I used to make fun of him. So
that's just another reason for me not to like him. I've already got enough reasons why I don't like him. Now it's just another reason to not like him.
Well, there you go. You heard it live.
You wouldn't listen to this podcast.
All right. Oh, he might. You never know. Make for an interesting listen. We have a reaction video. Well, his wife makes him go to Shannon Knoll concerts. So, and he's like, but
maybe his wife has a thing for Shannon Knoll. You never know.
No, she does.
There you go. Yeah,
she loves Shannon Knoll. She is like obsessed with Shannon Knoll.
There you go.
And he's like, I hate Shannon Knoll.
What about me? It isn't fair.
Don't you think it's funny?
His wife wants to have sex with Shannon Knoll. I can't you see?
No, she's a good Christian girl. She just
whatever. There's no such thing.
I think it's hilarious that that's Shannon Knoll's song when
Mm.
he didn't win.
No, yeah, but that's also a cover song too.
Yeah, I know, but like it's the song he sung
Yeah.
when he didn't win the contest he did with whoever it was.
Yeah, Guy Sebastian won with Angels Brought Me Here. But Angels Brought Me Here.
Yeah, well, we're going back.
I don't know why I remember shit like that, but I just do.
Things stand out, We'll save that for our music podcast. My second game is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
How did I know you were going to say Tony Hawk?
Because I once was a skateboarder.
I
remember being at school and some kid was like, "Oh, you skate? Or have you played Tony Hawk?" I'm like, "What's Tony Hawk?" And he's just like, "Tony Hawk." I think I stopped on the way home from school and I bought Tony Hawk on the PS1. And
PS1. Yep.
This is amazing. But then later on in the other later games, you could get off the board, and I preferred getting off the board because you could never get off the board on Tony Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
And look, yeah, as a skateboarder back then, it was a dream come true to play a skateboarding game. Even though I didn't really like Tony Hawk.
Oh, you're against the curve. I like Tony Hawk. That just made it in too. That was 99, wasn't it?
Yeah.
99 just made the cut.
Just made the cut. But yeah, no, I wasn't a fan of Vert. I was a stretch skater, so like Rodney Mullen was my jam. Yeah. Once Rodney Mullen became a playable character in that game, I was just like, because Rodney Mullen. No one knows enough about Rodney Mullen. Like,
dude, I know nothing about skateboarding at all except Tony Hawk, and the game's good.
Okay, well, Tony Hawk kind of like publicized it almost, like made it go berserk, and everyone's like, yeah, I don't know. But Rodney Mullen is this guy who's friends with Tony Hawk, who invented nearly all the tricks.
Okay.
Tony Hawk learnt tricks off Rodney Mullen, and then Rodney Mullen would always invent new tricks, and it'd be insane. And then they'd go, oh, let's do that on a ramp. Rodney Mullen deserves more credit than he gets, but he's such a humble guy that he's like,
listening, Rodney, send us an email.
I'll hit him up. Do you want me to hit him up? So he'd have some cool stories, but he's very, very super introverted.
Okay.
He actually doesn't like skating in front of people that much, which is weird for someone who's skateboarded in front of people in competitions. Yeah. It was pretty funny. His father was a dentist and didn't want him skateboarding. And he said, yeah, and he said, as soon as you hurt yourself, you're done. And then I think it was like 11 years old or something, and like he fell off his skateboard and he was crying, and his dad he's like, why are you crying? He's like, I don't want to stop skateboarding. He wasn't crying because he was hurt. He was crying because he did, but his father was like, don't, you're not allowed to skate vert. No matter what, you're not allowed to skate vert. And then this, I think about 5, 6, 7 years ago, this photo dropped of a secret photo of Rodney Mullen skating vert back when he was a kid. But yeah.
That was a good game. I played it a fair bit.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I recently played it on an emulator and realized how shit the graphics were.
Yeah.
Because I've been tossing up whether to buy the remake with 1 and 2, but then I'm just like, no. It doesn't really hold up.
Ever since the rival game Skate came out, I can't go back to Tony Hawk.
Okay.
Because Skate is just it's like an emulator, and it's like it feels like you're skateboarding, and it's just better. I'm sorry, peeps.
Did you ever play the bike one? Was it Matt Hoffman?
I used to play that one.
Yeah. I remember I played it for a little bit. It was the same developer, I think.
Yeah.
Same developer, because it still had the same design and everything. But
yeah. But yeah, that's my second one. What's your second?
My second one, I'm surprised it's not on your list, because I got a lot of enjoyment out of this. This is another one I used to play with my friends. GoldenEye 007.
I didn't have a Nintendo 64.
No? Okay. Yeah, this came out it was by Rare, who did games like Donkey Country, Banjo-Kazooie. Came out in 97.
Yep. I'm aware.
Sorry?
I'm aware.
Yeah, it was I remember, I don't think I ever finished it single player, but I just remember we got a lot of enjoyment out of the 4 split screen. I remember I used to be odd job just so I could chop people.
Yeah.
And use a hat to throw it.
You remember how you used to be able to link the consoles?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guys at school, I think they linked like 4, like it was either they were exaggerating and they said 8, but it was like at least 4 or something.
Well, I remember the 64 used to have, it was the first one to have 4 ports, I think.
Yeah.
So you could use 4 controllers.
Yeah.
But I remember back in the day, we just spent a lot of time just following Natasha around trying to look up a skirt in missions. Or just trying to go around. I remember there was one time I tried to go, I got bored and, I pretty much played every character. I literally went around to the level and tried to smash every beaker.
Yeah.
Smash every object that you can possibly smash.
Yeah.
But apparently they're doing a remake of it. So we'll soon see. Obviously, I'm guessing it's a Nintendo thing because I remember the first GoldenEye only came out on 64, but then they did Tomorrow Never Dies, but that came out on PlayStation because I remember I won that in a competition. I got Tomorrow Never Dies on PS1.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, GoldenEye would be on my list of top 5. Great, many days of fun.
No, well, the reason I didn't even think of it is because I never had a Nintendo 64. Every like once a year the family Christmas would get together and the friends we had they had the Nintendo 64 and we'd play GoldenEye and that. But it's just it I don't have any super fond memories of it in the sense that like it doesn't it's not nostalgic for me because it wasn't the game that I played.
No, it's fair enough. I mean, I was one of those kids who eventually did have every console. Yeah. And the only thing I remember about the 64 was GoldenEye, and it had the best wrestling games still to this day on the 64. They used to have the wrestling games where literally there was a million different paths. If you lost this game, your character went this way. If you won this match, it went this way. That's what I remember. I remember GoldenEye. I remember Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which are not on my list. So I'll mention those. Yeah. and the wrestling games. That's all I remember about the 64.
Yeah. And there's Mario 64.
I never really liked that. Like I'm an honest believer they never made a good Mario game after Super Mario Brothers 3 on the NES.
I'd see that. Yeah.
When they went all like 3D, let's go 3D, and I was like, no, that's not Mario.
That's like when they did Sonic, and this will segue into my next one. But like when they did Sonic, and they did the newer games, and they're like you're running with the screen. I think that's weird. It was kind of cool with the Sonic,
the side scroller.
Well, you know the ones where you jump into one of the rings and then it goes 3D and you got to collect all
but that was like a mini game kind of thing.
Yeah, but the full game not like that.
Sonic. Well, I won't. You're going. I'll talk about it when you talk about it because that was the last good Sonic game in my eyes.
Because my next game is Sonic and Knuckles, and that's my absolute all-time favorite. And it was amazing that it came with a cartridge that you'd put the cartridge in the Sega and then you'd flip open the cartridge and put Sonic 2 in there and you could play Knuckles in Sonic 2. Oh, it was just amazing. And it stood out like nothing else. I think I used to play that a lot at Chris's place as well.
You had the second one which introduced Tails, and then the third one was Sonic and Knuckles the third one, or was that the fourth one?
I think it was the fourth one.
Yeah. Because I think the third one you weren't able to play. I think Knuckles was in it, but you weren't able to play him. And then the fourth one was where you could play Tails, Sonic, or Knuckles. Yeah. Again, that's the last good Sonic game.
Yeah. Although they did one recently, within 5 years, they did one, and it was like a new game, but it was done in the style of.
Well, they did. The latest one that's come out is Sonic Mania, but that's just it's like a remastered version of the first couple of games.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. On. I think it's like $20 or something on PS Network. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but yeah, man, Sonic and Knuckles. I played that to death, and one of the best side scrollers.
100%.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited to see Knuckles in the new Sonic.
Well, did you watch? We watched the first one, didn't we?
Oh, I love the first one. I know
Knuckles he was just like in the post credits of the first one.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But to actually see him as a main character.
Yeah. And no, Jim Carrey just makes that as well.
Yeah, 100%. Dr. Robotnik. I want to watch that again.
Yeah.
Now,
but the second one's out now or almost out.
Yeah, I think it's coming out in the next week or two. By the time this episode's out, are we dropping this one tomorrow?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, well, it's not. Yeah, it's not out yet.
Unless you're listening to this a week after. But yeah, cool. Yeah, that's my number. Oh, I skipped one, but I'll come back to that one.
No worries. My number 3 is this one's from the Super Nintendo. It just made the cut. It was 91. Came out in 1991, and this is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, this was the third Zelda game. The first two were on NES. This was the first one that kind of encapsulated the role-playing style we know and love. Yep. So this was a typical princess gets kidnapped, all this kind of stuff. But it was it was the first one that sort of gave you side quests. And, you've got to find different parts of the sword and make the master sword. And then you've got to find parts of a pendant to unlock the magic and stuff like that before you could actually go through. I do remember a lot of fond memories with this one. A lot of yelling and screaming because it when you first start off and you get your sword, like the enemies can take 2 hearts. You only had 3 hearts. I take 2 off in one hit. So I remember a lot of attempted controls thrown at the TV and everything like this. But no, I think this was the first of the Zelda Final Fantasy style games. I did finish this one. This is one of the also got me into these games because it took more than about 2 hours to finish when we're used to like Sonic and Mario and stuff. When it could take like 4 to 5 hours max if you sat there and played it, you would finish it quite comfortably. Where Legend of Zelda was one that you needed to have a few sessions of, probably like 20, 30 hours to finish. So that's what got me into role-playing games, which I still class as my favorite style of video games.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No. Yeah. I've barely played any Zeldas. I like Zelda, but I find
most people have played Ocarina of Time. Yeah, that seems to be the go-to one that everyone sort of got into video games around. But I have played the first two, not much to write home about. Obviously, no system, but this one and the next one, which was on Game Boy called Link's Awakening, really got me into role-playing games in general, where I didn't really look back. And that the JPRG style, like not role-playing games like Skyrim, and which I do love. Yeah, but not those kind of role-playing games like Cyberpunk and Skyrim, but role-playing games like Final Fantasy and Legend of Zelda and all those kind of games. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, I skipped one, and that one is Metal Gear Solid. Which I think it's mandatory.
Is it the one you're talking about? The one on PS1.
PS1 came out in 1998, where it had the 2 discs, and there's a code you got to put in when you. That took me forever to realize. I think I borrowed it off someone from school. I got to disc 2, and I was like, enter the code that's on the. I'm going, where's the code? And because it's the 90s, I can't ring up my friend and go, hey mate, or text my friend or email my friend. As I go to school, I go, where? And he's like, look on the back of the disc. I was like, oh.
I think this Metal Gear, I love this game too. I've finished it many times. I think this was the first game that kind of made you think.
Yeah.
My fondest memory of this game is the Psycho Mantis boss fight where he was invulnerable and he's like, it's just all about changing your perspective, and you have to beat him by unplugging your controller from port 1, plugging it into port 2. So he couldn't read your mind and essentially read your mind and work out what moves you were going to do. And I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. And also one of the first games where you have to hide in a cardboard box and creep around past guards.
there's so much quirks with it. Like I remember, like you walk through the snow and this guy, the guard goes, "Whose footprints are these?
Who's that? Who's that?
Yeah. Whose footprints are these?" And they follow the footprints, and I'd wait for him, and I'd be like,
And it was one of the first few games I played that you can't just simply go balls to the wall, kill everyone.
Yeah.
it is literally, as the tagline is, tactical espionage.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You can't just go and kill everyone.
Did you ever? There's a trick. I don't even know how people figure this out, but Meg, I think her name's Meg.
Yeah. The chick, the redheaded chick. Yeah.
Yeah, and she has wolves with her all the time.
Yep.
Apparently, if you punch her, they'd attack you. But if you punch her and then hide in your cardboard box, the wolves would piss on your cardboard box.
I just want to know that. No.
Like, it was random stuff like that. Like I'm like, how do you think of that?
And honestly, like, I think the first two Metal Gears, so Metal Gear and Metal Gear Sons of Liberty. I think was it Sons of Liberty, the second one with Raiden?
I think that was the third one.
I can't remember. They all have similar sounding names.
Well, I think the
you know what? I'm going to
the one we're talking about was 1998.
No, yeah, that was the original. That was,
and then I think Raiden came in Sons of Liberty, but I think there may have been there was a game that was just purely tactical training.
Okay, so Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2 was Sons of Liberty with Raiden. Metal Gear 3 was tactical. That was Snake Eater. That's the one you're thinking of. That was number 3.
Yep.
And then there was 4, which was Guns of Patriots.
Yeah.
And then 5, The Phantom Pain.
Yeah, I love Phantom Pain, to be honest.
I haven't played it. Honestly, I bought my PS3, my PS4, and I bought that game with it.
Yeah. I haven't played it yet since.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of worried because I don't want to be one of those games that I remember being so amazing and then going back and being like, ugh, you know. But from memory, it was cool because it's all about you setting up your base and you do all your tactical, and it's open world, and you can airlift your horse or your tank or your jeep or but it's cool.
But no, definitely a very good one. And just a bit of trivia, the last game on the NES that was Metal Gear was technical Metal Gear 2. Solid Snake came out in 1990.
Oh.
So it fell into that actual the 90s era.
The 90s character. Yeah.
But in saying that, Final Fantasy had 4 games come out in the 90s. So that's not saying much, because I just I was trying to go through the list and work out exactly I know which one I'm going to talk about, but I've got a couple of honorable mentions as well. But was that all you had on Metal Gear?
I'm done with Metal Gear.
So my second, well, it's my fourth one, but this is my second favorite. I'm going in reverse order.
Yep.
Was Resident Evil 2. Came out in 1998. I'm a massive Resident Evil fan. This is my second favorite of the series, and was only overtaken with Resident Evil 8 that just came out this last year.
Yeah.
That was such a good game, it jumped to my favorite. But Resident Evil 2 for a very long time, since it came out in 98 until 2021, was my favorite Resident Evil game. It was the first one this one's another one that had 2 discs. It was the first game that you got to pick from Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield. And if you pick Leon Kennedy, you play him in the first part of it. You finish it with Leon, you put the Claire disc in, and you play her perspective while he was on his journey. And then vice versa. If you pick Claire to start with, you were there. It was just a new thing. Yeah. It was just absolutely fantastic. I've played and finished it multiple times, spent multiple money on the remakes and everything like that. And that was on PS1, and that was my favorite Resident Evil game for 22 years. So, and I played them all. I've finished them all. Spin-offs, you name it. And Resident Evil 2 was only just overtaken by Resident Evil 8 Village, which came out last year.
Yeah, I think I played one of them once. I don't know if I finished it. I think I just borrowed a lot of games off people at school, which is kind of weird because I wasn't popular in school. I was bullied a lot.
Exactly. Same with me. That's why I ended up. I think I sunk my money.
Want to borrow a game?
I think I sunk all my cash into games because I didn't have any friends that I went out with and stuff like that. But look, it's you either with Resident Evil, you either love them or you hate them.
Yeah,
there's no in between. They're not just like, oh yeah, it's okay. It's like I've played and I own them all. in multiple different, like on multiple different consoles. And Resident Evil 2 is my number 2 favorite game of the 90s.
I don't know if mine are particularly in order. I just put my favorite at the top, but my last one in my top 5 is Road Rash.
Road Rash.
And my fondest memory of Road Rash is when you go off the road and there's a cow sleeping and you'd hit the cow and then you'd launch into the air and you'd it's even more fun than whipping people with chains. And
I love that.
It was such a good, but I'm like you. I went back, like I got an emulator.
Yep.
And I went back and played it. I was like, wow, these graphics are so bad.
Oh, 100%. I remember we had a Mega Drive, as they're called in Australia, with the Genesis in overseas. And we used to take it away when we went away. And our thing, like me, my sister, my mum, and my dad would be, every night we were away, we'd be out at the beach or doing stuff. We would always sit down and play. And me and my dad would always play Road Rush. We had the 1, 2, and 3, and we used to play each other until it was time for bed. And I suppose that's why I love it, because it has so many good memories.
Oh, it was great. Like,
it was the first bike game you could sort of bash the crap out of people.
Yeah,
it was like a precursor to Grand Theft Auto, kind of.
Yeah, it pretty much was. But my dad, he only ever played one game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he got me a Sega Master System when secondhand when it came out, built in Alex the Kid.
Yeah, oh, I love those. Yeah, the built-in Alex Kid.
But
yeah,
I would come home, and the reason that's not on my list is because it's the 80s. I'd come home from school, and my dad would be playing Wonder Boy.
Oh yeah, which one?
He had a nappy, and
yeah.
When he hit an egg, a skateboard would appear.
Mm-hmm.
He'd wear a helmet.
Yeah, I remember that game.
You're just like, this makes no sense. It's like you're a caveman running around with an axe, and then suddenly there's a skateboard.
You know what? Next time I come to your house, I literally there's one on PS5, and it's more like a role playing. I will bring my PlayStation. I will show your dad, and he'll probably go, "That's not as good as the one where I was in a nappy throwing stuff."
He probably doesn't remember it, but no, Wonder Boy was a family game.
It was.
We would fight the console over it, but I remember getting right to the end of it. Like, because it's such a hard game. I remember getting right to the end of it, and like we're about to finish it because we figured out what the last level was, and we knew it doesn't tell you what the last level is, but we got there, and then blackout.
Oh no!
And ladies and gentlemen, back in those days, there were no saving.
Oh, you got sopranoed.
Yeah, I did. And yeah, love-hate relationship with that one.
I remember even with the PlayStation 1, when you had a blackout, even if you had a memory card, you were done.
Yeah.
You had to go back and do it. But back on the Master System, there was no saving at all. Oh, man.
All right, hit us with your number 1.
Or do we want to do, I'm thinking, do I do number 1 or do we do we'll do the number 1 and then
I'll do one and then we'll do our honorable mentions. Okay.
There's no question on what my number 1 is. It's Final Fantasy VII.
I knew it.
This game I have not only nostalgic memories about, but I still play it now. It still holds up. It got me into the Final Fantasy series. I remember I got it with a PlayStation 1 for Christmas, and I remember I knew I was getting it for Christmas, and I remember buying. Do you remember the old magazine called Hyper?
I do, yes.
I remember buying that because it had not only had the walkthrough, but it had the article and the pictures. And I remember sitting there going, "Oh my god, I can't!" And I literally spent. We had Christmas tradition where we'd wake up, open presents, have breakfast, spend time with the extended family. And then like 4:00, we would go, okay, now we can play our toys. I literally was sitting there just going, I just want to play. I just want to play. I just want to play. I put it in. I started. Pretty much. I started playing it because we used to have like an hour gap before the guests would come over. So I remember starting playing it. And then all I wanted to do was play it. And I was in such a bad mood all day.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to go in and play.
Yeah.
And we had people coming over on Boxing Day too. I was like, I just want to play. But back then, I think I was in year 7 or something. So like we had 6 weeks school holidays. So, but that was the first game ever that I could not stop playing until I finished it.
Yeah.
It was 4 discs. It was the first time I'd ever experienced heartbreak in a video game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, but people who know Final Fantasy VII will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and look, honestly, I played it as recently as last year. It is just, it's a game that keeps on giving and will always have a special spot in my heart. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII. There's no.
It was Chris's favorite too, I think.
Yep. No, his favorite was Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because we've had discussions about this. I like Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII also came out in the 90s.
Yep.
So it does fit in with the topic. But no, Chris's favorite is Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh.
Because it involves incest. It literally does. But yeah.
Chris,
as soon as I met him, and I wasn't surprised Final Fantasy VIII was his favorite.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty funny because he loves the whole incest thing. Yet at least 10, 15 years ago, because he's adopted, and he was, this is something my sister said. My sister's pretty conservative, very proper. And he's there, and his sister's there, and she's like, you know, you guys could get married, you want, it wouldn't be illegal. And then they're both like, yet, you know, that's more weird than incest, apparently.
Okay.
All right. Honorable mentions. No, I say this is an honorable mention because I played it to death in the 90s, but it came out in 89, and that is Rampage. Yes. The Rock made a movie about it.
Never played it.
You never played it?
I
was annoyed because
many times.
Yeah. I remember watching the movie. I had a spare day and I went to the movies by myself, and it was filled with old people. I'm going, why are these old people?
Well, because
watching, you know, like it's, you know, no offense, but it doesn't seem to be the film that the. And then I later found out that one of my friends said, basically the old people come to the cinema, and they haven't seen a trailer. They don't know what they're going to watch. They just get there and go, oh, that looks good. And then they go, so like respect in the sense that just blindly going into the cinema. But at the end of the movie, it got the old person murmur of approval, you know, when the credits roll, and then the old people go, oh, yeah. So it was the exact same murmur that I got when I went and saw The Legend of Ben Hall. Shout out to Matthew Holmes. And that movie too got the old person murmur of approval. Oh, yes, I like that. Rampage was so good. It was like side scrolling.
Yeah, I remember watching. I have seen people play it.
It's just destroy everything on the screen.
Yeah.
I never got to play. There was a 3D version that came out on PS2. I never had a PS2. But the 3D version came out. That would have been amazing because it's just something about destroying stuff. And then the pesky military would come on at the bottom, and start shooting you, and then you eat them, and then you get your health back. And that was my one thing I wanted to happen in the movie. I said, I don't care how bad this movie is. I will be happy if someone gets eaten. And someone got eaten. And it was great because they couldn't call it King Kong, but it was King Kong.
Exactly.
So, you're not King Kong. We'll call you George. It was George, Ralph, and Lizzie.
Yeah.
And that's how you save yourself from getting sued. But that game was super fun. Any honorable mentions from you?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I would just like to give a shout out to it's kind of like, I'm just going to put both games in the same thing. This is nostalgic as well. Warcraft 2 and StarCraft.
All right, yeah.
I can still play them hands down. My dad got me into those games as well. He absolutely loves them. Both came out in the 90s. Warcraft 2 and StarCraft came out in the 90s. Really good strategy, typical build your base up, take out the enemy. But they actually had good storylines behind them as well. Was
Warcraft 2, was that the one where there was a cheat code where you could get the Knight Rider car?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was either Warcraft or Age of Empires. It was it may have been Age of Empires, actually, now that I think of it. But type in a cheat code, and then the Knight Rider car would come onto the battlefield. And
Because I
then,
remember there was lots of cheats for those games.
and then you could have stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But these ones actually hit their targets.
But yeah, they were good fun. I remember, playing them on weekends when
I think
had no
the
friends.
thing I remember the most about Warcraft is when you kept clicking on the orc boat.
Yeah. Why do you keep touching me?
Yeah, and it's like,
Not easy being green.
shut up or I'll sing.
And then the peasants as well, the humans, like, what? Yes, my lord. Why do you keep touching me? I don't like it when you touch me that way, my lord.
It would have been so fun. Making those games.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, I got a lot of screen time on them, so I'm going to mention them. Yeah.
Yeah, but my final honorable mention, and this is amazing that no Ninja Turtle game made my top five.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Because I just look, there were turtle games I like Turtles in Time, Hyperstone Heast, but I didn't play them as much as the other ones. But this one stood out to me because it's Street Fighter but Ninja Turtles. It's called Tournament Fighters. TMNT Tournament Fighters, and it was pretty hard. It was really hard to do all the special moves because each turtle had their special moves. Raphael would somehow spin like a cyclone sideways. But it was so much fun, but it was really ridiculously hard. And they've never made a game like that since, except for when they added it to the Injustice games recently.
So you're excited about the new one that's coming out, which has all these old arcade games?
I'm very excited about the
because I think Tournament Fighters is in that. I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's like all the old arcade games. I'm annoyed that they never got around because there was talks of them doing a turtle game, but on the same engine as Arkham City.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It would have been phenomenal.
Because there's enough villains in the turtle universe for them to do that. There's enough villains and stories that could have been told.
You've got. No, why am I doing the math? 38 years. I'm the same age as the Ninja Turtles. You've got 37, 38 years of villains. But Ninja Turtles, my jam. I need to have that role playing. Like I have designed a game in my head that would be perfect. Like you have your base of operations, and where Donnie will do his missions, getting tech to do up the lair, and Mikey will go get costumes for them to wear in the street, and Raph will do vigilante stuff. Leia will do, recon and all that stuff. And then you have the teams. Oh, it'd just be amazing.
Well, speaking of movies out of your jam, games out of your jam, my last honorable mention is NBA Jam from Midway Games.
The only basketball game I liked.
Yep, came out in '94. He's on fire. Just one of my favorite parts. Yeah, just when when you're on a streak and then you all of a sudden the ball turns into a flaming, firing basketball. And
my favorite basketball game was Space Jam. That was the biggest rip.
I like the idea of NBA Jam because it was just 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Your Bulls with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley for the Phoenix Suns, and it was just fun. And I liked how you could change the length of the actual game, so you could end up going through the whole tournament in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So that's my last honorable mention. NBA Jam '94.
Yeah. Well, it's going back.
It's
going back. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, there's more I could have mentioned, but they're
there's
ones that had the biggest impact on me.
Like I said, the ones I put down, they're the ones that stood out. They're the ones that stick most in my memory. There's a lot of other awesome games that I absolutely loved. I loved all the Sonics. I loved.
Well, you got to remember, like Donkey Kong came out. Donkey Kong 64 came out then.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 2, 3, and 4. Street Fighter 2, like all of those games.
Double Dragon.
They're up there, but these other games meant more.
So listeners and viewers, let us know if what games we forgot, or if all our games that we have chosen are terrible. Let us know in the comments below, or send us an email to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. And if there's any other 90s topics you want us to talk about, love to
Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. When did that come out?
90s. Yep. It was on my list. I was just looking it up then.
Because it was Nintendo 64, was it?
Yes, it was. And there was also Starfighter.
Yeah.
There was 2 Star Wars games that came out.
See, now all these things are coming to mind. Do you remember a game called Afterburner?
Yeah, Afterburner. Yeah, that was good.
Oh, I remember that.
Mario Kart came out in the 90s.
Yeah. See, and again, probably one of the best racing games of all time. The reason I forgot it is because I never had a Nintendo.
Rainbow Road gave me nightmares.
Yeah. And now it has rails.
There's so many good games come out in that year.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's the main segment done. What do you say we to Ryan's recommendation?
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that. Moon Knight, will that do?
No, I've actually got one because I found a new show that I've been watching. All right. This is on Apple TV. 3 episodes out already. I didn't think I was going to like this one, but Gary Oldman was in it, so I thought I'll give it a go. I don't watch many British shows. Can you hear me, or are you having?
Yeah, I can. I'm just very interested.
Okay. It's called Slow Horses. It's basically about spies. So Gary Oldman's team is a sort of a defunct MI5 spy agency, basically where they send you if you stuff up.
All right.
So it starts out with this operation with a terrorist in an airport, and the MI6 or whatever they're called, MI5, they're acting on intel, and one of the guys gets a combination of shirt and pants wrong. So they said the guy who's got the bomb is wearing a green shirt, brown pants. So they act on that intel, and they get the wrong guy. And the guy that actually apprehended the terrorist he said, well, you told me, this is what you told me. And then there was the guy on the other end in the communication said, no, I didn't. So basically this guy gets booted down because of a lie that the other guy took, and the other guy sort of goes up through the ranks.
Yeah.
Then we pick up a year later when he's now in this, what they call Slow House. So it's SLOUGH house.
Yeah.
Basically, apparently when you go there, that's where you go to career to die. And Gary Oldman's the leader. You wouldn't recognize him. He smokes and drinks and swears and sleeps most of the time. But they get some intel on a mission. Now, it's hard to tell because there's only 3 episodes out at the moment. But really good show, solid show, hour episodes. Gary Oldman's fantastic in it. Each episode leaves you on a cliffhanger. That just makes you want more and more and more. So it's called Slow Horses. It's on Apple TV, and the 3rd episode dropped today. I haven't watched the 3rd episode yet because I've been working, but so far, I don't really like British shows, but this has got me in, and I'm ready to watch the 3rd episode. So,
cool.
Yeah, check it out. It's Gary Oldman and a whole bunch of other actors.
I do like Gary Oldman.
Yeah, well, he's unrecognizable pretty much. Yeah. Like you can tell it's Gary Oldman, but it's not the Gary Oldman we know and love.
So he's like Penguin in The Batman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I forget his name.
Colin Farrell. Yeah, so Slow Horses, Apple TV.
Cool. Well, let's move on to our favorite segment, Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Jamie's emails.
My email. I've been getting so many. I've never been more excited to receive spam. I click onto check my emails every day. I log on and then I scroll down to the spam. I'm like, ooh, new spam. I actually checked one of my old email addresses, and it's full of sexy time ladies. And I'm like, well, if we ever want to just go through that. But this one isn't sexy time. This one is from Barrister Andy Owen.
Oh.
The title of the email is thank you. So you're welcome. You're welcome, Barrister Andy Owen. Greetings.
Sure, it's not Michael Vasily.
Oh, could be. Could work for him. But
I must tell you, before we go into the email, I was driving home from somewhere the other day. Michael Vasili's Seven Hills office,
yeah.
police all around.
Oh.
Like 5 police cars in the streets next to it and in front of it. Just saying.
Wow. For those playing at home, and we don't want to give him free advertisement, but Michael Vasili is a lawyer from Sydney, and every time we go to the movie,
barrister and solicitor.
I'm guessing he's a lawyer. It's like Michael Vasili's barristers and solicitors, so I'm going to say that he's a lawyer.
Well, you should say Michael Vasili's prostitutes and women that
I've been watching a lot of Suits, so he could be a Mark Ross, be a fraud. But yes, he advertises at our cinema. The very first ad that comes up is Michael Vasili, barrister and solicitor, and then about two or three ads go, and then he comes back with a second ad.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Vasili. And you remember the Michael Vasili name, but you don't feel like you would want to hire him.
He's got a sleazy little goatee and everything.
He looks like a pimp.
Mm-hmm. And
lucky we're not a super famous podcast because we may get done for slander. Well, then we'll
you're an asshole.
Then we'll hire him to defend us. Yes, but back to the email. Greetings. I am Barrister Andy Owen. I am contacting you to assist retrieve this huge deposit Mr. Alexander left in the bank, $4.5 million, before it gets confiscated by the bank. I will give you more details once I confirm your positive answers. Many thanks, Barrister Andy Owen. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, so basically he wants your bank details so he can deposit the funds into your account.
Yeah.
And in saying that, you will keep a portion.
Yeah.
You will keep a portion of the money.
Yeah.
It's basically money laundering.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
But man, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Barrister Andy Owen, if you're listening, can you be more specific?
Wouldn't you think if you were a barrister, you wouldn't go by Andy, you'd go by Andrew? Just to make
Fair point.
A bit more.
I mean, there are people out
I'm
there.
not going to hire a lawyer that's name is Andy.
That's a fair point. Don't most barristers have like 3 names? At least they at least have one middle name.
Or a lot of prostitutes, like Michael Vasili does.
Is he a barrister though?
He's a Michael Vasili barristers and solicitors.
Yeah, but his name's Michael Vasili. Doesn't mean that he's.
I'm pretty sure if his name's on the billboard, he's going to be a barrister Anderson.
No, but they're his barristers and solicitors.
So he's just like a mob boss.
He could be. Remember, we made him a mob boss in our campaign for D&D.
I had a lot of fun killing him. Anyway, this is not the Michael Vasili podcast. That's our other podcast.
As much as he would love it.
Yeah.
Free advertisement.
I tried to friend request him on Facebook, remember? He never got back to me.
No. Well, he probably...
Him and Warren E. Buffett, they're just living it up.
Yeah. All right. I think that's the episode done.
I think that is. That was a very good episode. I enjoyed that. We're going to keep the 90s ball rolling. I think we're going to do music next time.
Yeah, we're going to do 90s music, and eventually, I really do want to get the band back together, like interview people from the band days, like so people can learn about us before we were international mediocre podcasters.
I'll be up for that.
Yeah,
let's interview Steven. I got some words for him.
That'll be
2 words for him.
No, look, if you really want to annoy him tactfully, tell him that he doesn't play a trombone. Just say, "Oh, well, that's real nice trumpet playing." You
remember Steph did that when she first met him, and he cracked the shit.
Oh, he got furious.
No. Me and Steven, we disagree on a few things. We've had a few heated exchanges, so maybe we can interview some other members of your band.
I was thinking like, get everyone together and do a big,
You got to remember who was in my band. They don't generally know how to use computers.
It's all right. That's true. That's true. Or even just anyone from the old days, mate.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. But yeah, we got a few interviews coming out. The next interview to drop is one with someone called Jim Riley.
From Louisiana.
And he wrote 50 books in 4 years. He got a 60-book publishing deal. He was a real cool guy.
Yeah, really, really good guy.
Not
going to say anything bad about him because I'm pretty sure he owns weapons.
No, he was pretty laid back. Look, I didn't know much about him at all when we got him on, and then I was like, I want to go visit Louisiana, and then I've got 3 or 4 in the pipeline coming up, but I'll keep them secret until they're recorded and ready to be shared. But thanks for listening, guys. As always, if you got any stories, send them to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Feel free to forward your spam to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com.
Yep.
Support us on buymeacoffee.com/STTATF if you like. I've started a Facebook group for authors, but you must be willing to chip in, support each other. Don't be one of those people that goes, here's my book, and then you never come back. And there's plenty of people in Facebook groups that go like, hey, here's my book, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
But so we got 7 people in there now, so slowly building. And why not shout out to our new members? Rebecca Castles is in there. Rolly Ryan's in there. Jack Roney's in there. Teresa Halvorsen, who was on one of the very first episodes of Story Chat, she's in there, and it's fun. It's called Authors and Friends. But if you're an author and if you're a friend, join. You're welcome to. But any final words, Ryan? Any motivational? No.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything.
That, you know what? Good quote.
Zack Snyder, sucker punch.
There you go.
I stumped Matthew Holmes with that when he was asking on Facebook. He's like, give me a quote and I'll pick the movie, and I said it and he couldn't get it.
I didn't like Sucker Punch.
Yeah, neither did I, but I just remember that line.
Do you know what I did? This is all I remember about Sucker Punch.
Abby Cornish
is in the middle of it. For some reason, I Googled the origin of the mop.
I just remember that one line from it. That's it.
I barely remember anything from it.
Well, this is not the Sucker Punch podcast. That's our other podcast. So
yes. But guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and have a good day, evening, night, walk, run, jog, car drive, whatever. Peace.
Next time.